Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is still September the 17th, 2020. Strong hand, long-term thinking, conviction. Be a unique beast. Fitting in is overrated. Offended by selling. All right, we tried this show once. We tried it live, but it didn't work out live. This is supposed to be the Ask Me Anything show for Thursday, but hey, Ray is still in the freaking house. Raymond Wodarski of Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah, he's from Baltimore, like I am. He's got a unique beast kind of story when it comes to Bitcoin. He's got a unique take on this, and we got to hear what he's talking about here. We got to get this information out there because he does have a perspective that no one else, that I have not heard or seen on Bitcoin. He is blind, but he is a Bitcoin holder. So he is gonna help trigger a revolution to get this unique beast money a little bit easier in terms of usage for the blind. So Ray, welcome to the show, my friend.
Good to be here, Adam. Thanks. Time to take this off again. Hello, everybody. Hello, Bitcoin world.
All right. So tell us how you got into Bitcoin and your frustrations with Bitcoin.
Okay, well, starting from the beginning, so I wasn't always blind, so that's one thing to keep in mind. I lost my sight in 2016 due to a fire accident. I also lost my legs, and it was a whole mess. But my Bitcoin story starts in 2011. I was an undergrad at Randolph-Macon down in Richmond, Virginia, and every semester the computer science department would do semester-long projects. They build a server, build a laptop, start a website, something like that. And in 2011, they wanted to set up a Bitcoin mine. And I was not a computer science major, but I had some friends that were in it, and I would always stop in and see what they were working on, see the latest and greatest tech gear. And I started reading up on the white paper and what a Bitcoin was, and really, like, that got me on about a decade worth of looking into exactly what is money and how the financials of the world actually operates. So Bitcoin almost got me into the financial world. So moving on from there, fast forward to law school, I was taking banking law in 2014. And that's when we were going over the Dodd-Frank Act and fractional reserve banking. And needless to say, I got really nervous about how our financial system is set up. And a lot of my friends were golden holders. They were, still very skeptical about the US dollar. And it took me a while to say, okay, I need to find something to jump to, and I'm not sure if gold's the right answer. So fast forward to that, I was in a summer program in Krakow, Poland, and that's where I met Mark Finelli. Now, me and him hit it off, and he explained Bitcoin, and that's when I swallowed the hook, and I was convinced that Bitcoin was the new future of money.
Yes, and Mark Finelli is famous, guys. Google him and pound that like button. Okay, so you got your Bitcoin then. Now it's a bit frustrating to deal with it. Now, one thing I got to give you credit for. We've been talking since 2017, so this show is a long time in the making, and I'm really happy to get your story out there because in terms of what I've read stories about making Bitcoin easier to use for people who can't see, but I have never, heard anyone who actually can't see talk about their experiences. Oh. And so one thing that we've talked about is just the frustration of sending Bitcoin, not knowing if you're really sending it to the right address or not.
Yes, very frustrating. And to make things even worse, when I first lost my sight, I was trying to purchase Bitcoin from Coinbase, like a lot of first-timers would. And I could hit submit from using my screen reader. So people that might not know, so the blind interact primarily with what's called screen readers. So wherever you put your finger or your cursor, it would just read whatever that text is or numbers or icons back to you. So when I wanted to purchase Bitcoin with the screen reader on, and when I would hit buy, nothing would happen. So there was it was still filled with glitches back then. So like, for example, that's why unfortunately I bought one Litecoin just to see if my Bitcoin account was set up right, or my Coinbase account was set up right, or if it was, it's just all these like little false positives that occur with screen readers and with accessibility issues with Bitcoin. That's very nerve-wracking. So, a lot of the early days, I needed to have somebody with sight to make sure that we're using the right address, that we're entering the right amounts. So if I can work with anybody to make this easier for the blind community to get into Bitcoin, this is a great first step, is to just make sure that there's no more false positives or even false negatives. That would be huge.
And so all of us take it for granted. We see that long stream of numbers and letters, and we can confirm that we're sending it to the right address on our Trezor.
Yeah.
And you can,
That's
you could have
killer.
it. You could have it read out all the letters and numbers, but that would be a freak show. You don't know. You can't memorize all those numbers. And
Absolutely.
No. So
Absolutely.
One of the things I give you credit for is that you. Well, I give anybody out there that's watching this. If you've got listening comprehension, you listen to my shows, and you're like, oh, that guest is a really good guy. I'd love to get in touch with him. Well, that's what you thought about as you were traveling down to Austin. You wanted to get in touch with Phil down there.
Yeah. Shout out to Unchained Capital, Phil and Parker.
And so I put you in touch with those dudes, and they were interested. Phil was interested in this type of thing, in making Bitcoin easier for the blind, but he saw that it's pretty far behind right now.
Yes, yeah, that's right. When we did a little meeting with the Unchained Capital team, and I brought so the screen reading software is pretty much the golden standard for what most blind people use to interact with their computers. And we tried to use some of the Unchained software, and it was giving a problem of it would basically read the code instead of what the code represented. Was an issue that not a lot of developers are aware of that even pops up. But like, for example, instead of it reading back enter, it will read the ones and zeros of whatever that code is for the enter command. So that was a really disheartening thing, because they were working on this project, which I hear is great, but for a blind person, it would just be a stream of ones and zeros.
So this is the thing. You have experience with Bitcoin, and like no other, and you've met people in the Bitcoin space. So your dream job is being a Bitcoin a consultant for all of these various companies that deal with Bitcoin storage, whether it be Trezor, whether it be Ledger. You could be the consultant, to help them figure out how they can make it easy for blind people. So you're in motion right now. If any of you dudes out there are paying attention, this is your dude right here in terms of opening up Bitcoin to the blind community now. And again, you're totally in motion, which is awesome. That's why I got you on the show today, because you've got this unique perspective, and you want to. This is building. This is what I talk about. Getting more people into this space. Now, you've tried to get other blind people into this space, and they are interested in being golden holders, as you said, but they're not interested in Bitcoin though.
Yep, that and stocks, because a lot of the big banks all have to be ADA compliant naturally, so they spend big money to make sure that all their websites and their apps are screen reader friendly, either through Apple or Mac. Now that's great for that, and then also with gold, they tend to be a lot of golden holders too. But we need to find out how to make that for Bitcoin, because when I bring that up to people in the blind community, like, they're very not skeptical of what Bitcoin is, but how to get it safely and how to store it safely. That's one of their biggest fears, because if they don't have somebody that they can trust right now to read back their bank account information, to read back the credit card, to read back the address, or however method they want to do this, they could easily lose their Bitcoin or their money or whatever. So it's a lack of independency in the blind community, and most of us want to be self-sufficient and independent, but in the Bitcoin space. It's just not possible at this
So
point.
I mean, the ultimate is be your own bank in Bitcoin. I mean, that's the ultimate holder. But what do you think about one day? I mean, already Kraken just announced that they're becoming a Bitcoin bank. Okay. Now, I don't know if they're going to have to be ADA compliant or whatever. I don't know the whole Wyoming ADA compliance. But let's say, and this is just not make believe. One day, Bank of America, you'll be able to store your Bitcoin there. So they will be ADA compliant, and they are a multi-billion-dollar organization, and they'll figure this out. So what is it? Are you willing to compromise, not for yourself, but to tell others, like if Bank of America comes up with a product where they're storing the Bitcoin for the person, but it's very easy for the blind to access, would you be down with that?
I think I'd be cool with it. And I don't want to touch on a sore subject, but I know this is gonna drive you nuts, but the ones in the blind community that we're able to convince to jump into the Bitcoin space went to GBTC.
Of course.
Well, because they can still trade
It's a stock. It's a stock. Yeah. But that's, you know what? I'm not complaining. Okay, that's fine. No, GBTC, that's a competitive edge right there. They've got a competitive edge in the blind market. Look,
and
right
the way
there.
they saw it is like, well, all the holes in the cheese, as you will, like that we just mentioned, all the little pitfalls. The way they see it is like, well, if I buy GBTC, all that's already taken care of for me. So I can at least get exposure to the asset without having to deal with all those pitfalls.
Yeah. Hey, dudes that are watching this, I want to point out that this is a new shirt here. It's Stack, Sats, and Hodl, it says. It is linked, by the way, if you want this exact shirt, this dude, I just received the shirt. It's linked to below. And let me see. What's it? Satoshi Corner, dude. SatoshiCorner.com. You get shirts there, and I'm wearing it. People, when we tried to do this show the first time, someone even commented on the shirt right away because everybody loves his fancy sets and graphics. Come on, dude. It's by the way, so Ray, you listen to and a lot of YouTube. I mean, you Bitcoin YouTubers, Bitcoin podcasters. Do you notice a difference between the dudes that are only audio only and video? Is there? But my theory is that the dudes that are audio only, that the content is better, and that the dudes.
Absolutely, yeah, because it doesn't do the blind any favors or audio listeners any favors if you're just comparing charts and just saying, see here it's there, and then it dropped down to here, and then it went up to there. It doesn't do anything for the blind community or just audio listeners. But that's one of the attractions to the show. No fancy sets or graphic. I was like, great, he's relying on content.
Yeah, man. Thank you. You've got a very unique perspective on this to judge the quality of a show, because you're not gonna. There's a lot of people that throw out there those fancies, and people just fall for it. Oh, look at the chart, or look at the bikini girl. Look at that, and that's what I'm telling. I mean, you listen to what is good. That's all. That is the distraction, dude. You should be the podcaster critique. There's a bit. You could be Siskel and Ebert of podcasting. That would be good. Just saying what's good, what you recommend. Dude, I'm coming up with all sorts of ideas today.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about another idea, another good idea that you had that involves Bitcoin here, and you can show. And I made on the original show. I don't know if I'm going to do this for this show. I made the thumbnail your leg, which is a Metallica leg. You can get, if you're missing a leg, you can get a leg designed for you, and his says Metallica on it and Justice for All. Is that a reference? I mean, I know it's their song, but is it a reference to your law background also?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I grew up a huge Metallica nut, and with the law field, with the law degree, with the law license, Texas attorney, it was beautiful.
Oh yeah, put it in the center a little bit more. You were good there.
Sure. You got it. Speaking of fancy sets or graphics, but yeah, for those that can see this podcast,
it's a woman. It's holding the scales of justice, and it says Justice for All, and then Metallica at the top. People,
the Injustice for All album cover is wrapped around where for those that are used to seeing prosthetic legs with the poles, they make calf covers, and that's what I opted for.
You got New Balance shoes on it. Very, very good shoe. Now, I want to, so why we're showing this, you want a Bitcoin leg.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So calling out to all you Bitcoin artists out there, if you guys could send a print or something or a digital file to Adam so that he could scan it and send it to me, because let me see if I can do this. I lost both my legs in the fire. So my right leg's still bare. So I would love to get a cast cover of anything Bitcoin.
I
I'm
mean,
thinking
this could be a big, this could be a big business, because a lot of people in this day and age, apparently, I'm learning from you, they like designs on their legs. They like
yeah.
designs.
Oh yeah.
And
Indeed, there's this one of the guys in the I guess you could call it the support group I'm in for amputees. He lost it above his knee, so he got the Iron Man cover. So his whole leg looked like it's like turning into the Iron Man leg.
it's cool.
Yeah, people get really out there with this stuff. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people aren't used to this at all. They think of a prosthetic leg. They think of the pole. They think of a lot of different things, man. You can go a lot of different directions with like this. And I've seen a lot of Bitcoin merchandise out there. I've seen Bitcoin on a lot of things. I've seen a bunch of Bitcoin and altcoin tattoos on Ken Bozak's freaking body, but I've never seen a Bitcoin prosthetic leg before. So
yeah, so somebody can get us the art. I got the guy that can manifest that into a leg cover. So
this could be
sweet. Yeah, definitely the Bitcoin B. No fancy sets or graphics. Strong hand.
Now, are you going to become permanent in Austin? I mean, do you like that tech the tech atmosphere there? Do you think that?
Yeah, I love it. It seems like a cutting edge of technology, and it's very cool. It's like this libertarian cowboy tech mecca. At least the scenes that I've been at in Austin. So really looking forward.
And again, people, he's from Baltimore, just like I am. He's from a different part of Baltimore, but we won't get into all the different specific people from Baltimore know the difference from the east side, the west side, this, that, and that.
That's a whole new podcast unto itself, my man.
Yeah. So, the people in England are like, oh, we don't need to hear about the east side of Baltimore versus the west. Okay, so we won't hear.
Watch the wire. There you go.
Pound that like button for Ray. Yeah, okay, now no wire for us. And so you're a Metallica fan also.
Big time, yeah.
Okay. And any comments on the state of rock music today, or has it deteriorated?
Okay. Absolutely terrible.
Okay. Look, I'm asking the ask me anything questions of you right now. But what's your take on classic rock, by the way?
Oh, I like classic rock. Yacht rock. I think there's a time and place for everything. I think the more to listen to, the better. But everybody finds their own niche that gets on repeat on their, on their music, on their playlist anyway. So
now you are a lawyer. This is important to remind everyone. This was referred to. I think we referred to it in this show, not the first show.
Yeah, to clarify that. Yes, I did graduate from law school and I passed the Texas bar.
Yeah, so you've got the lawyerly brain up there. So I mean, you could do. You haven't really gotten into Bitcoin and the legal side of Bitcoin, though, at all. That you have not.
That's funny, because a lot of it has been a weird. That's almost like the Wild West of the law, which is very fascinating. Because my concentration in law school was more business law and securities and international transactions. So a lot of that was more based on, what to do and what not to do with the SEC, with insider trading, how to start a business to business disputes, that kind of area. But now with this new asset class, it's like, are we going to adapt old laws to this? It's going to be very interesting going forward, especially with smart contracts and how the courts are going to, view those. I think it's going to be a very interesting area of the law that I'm, very, looking forward to reading more about.
Yeah, I hope you can comment on it from your lawyerly perspective. There's something in Bitcoin for everyone. The law, the prosthetic legs for the blind, anything. In motion, dude. Pound that like button. Now, on a Beyond Bitcoin show, I spoke about Elon Musk. So we're going to go beyond Bitcoin right now. Talk about Elon Musk real quick. And he's developing this Neuralink thing.
Yeah.
And there are all these people that say, oh, he's trying to control people's brains. He's going to put a chip in people's brains, know exactly what they're doing. And I said, dude, let this guy experiment. This would be so awesome. He could, who knows what he could give people back their sight, et cetera, et cetera. So you have a take on what he's doing, and if he were to develop say, okay, I've tested it out here on animals, and if we do X, Y, and Z and cut a little hole in your head, you can get your sight back. What's your take on that?
Well, I find it fascinating. So a little more background in my area. So I was at Hopkins for a year for my burn injury, and my mom was also a nurse there. So I'm very, shout out to Hopkins and the Hopkins Burn Unit. But I also have a family member who worked in neurosurgery at Hopkins, and they've been working on this for quite a while now. So when Elon Musk came out about it, I think it's great because not only have research labs have already been working here, but to get this in the commercial sense, I think would be fantastic, because it seems that once the commercial side comes to certain medical research, it seems to evolve a lot quicker. Now, in the baseline technology, they've been able to get certain animals to see images through electronic implants. So this would be almost akin to setting up HD cameras for your glasses and right into your visual cortex. So I'm all for that. I'm great. I would be third in line, let's say. So make sure they can work out the kinks, and then I would be right in line for it. Absolutely. Yeah. There's also a company in California called Second Sight that is working on it has the same goal in mind, doing a implantable prosthetic eye, basically.
Well, and this is the perspective I want to present here. You said, and I referred to you on a Beyond Bitcoin show. I said I have a friend who can't see, and he said he'd be third in line. So you just said exactly what what I quoted you as saying, which is great. But my point was that, a lot of people try to make it all to be conspiratorial. Oh, they're going to track you and stuff. But you would be like, you would worry about that later, right?
If I had to trade that for sight, I wouldn't mind at all.
Come on.
See again. Now, for the healthy human being, then what do they have to worry about? It's not, I really don't. I think that's a little overblown, this whole idea of merging man and machine. And we've been doing that with pacemakers too. So I think the concerns are a little overblown. But that's just me.
Yeah, no, your perspective is much appreciated here. I got to tell you, because this is who it would help. I mean, and he'd be third in a freaking line. So that's so I love what I love what Elon Musk is doing, and it just shows what a technological age that we're living in. So may it be sped up soon, and you're looking forward to this golden age too, no doubt about it, right?
Absolutely. This is one of the best times to be alive, no matter what anybody says. This is just an incredible
positive take. And you make the reference to your experience with Johns Hopkins and your mother's experience with Johns Hopkins. And I want to thank you publicly, because with my current situation with my grandmother, you've tried to help out that way through Hopkins. Because, everybody, if you want the best medical care and someone in Hopkins, it would be good. So I do want to thank you guys publicly, and you guys were great talking to you the other night. It's there's a lot going on in my life, but you've got a positive take on it, and I do appreciate the help of Ray. So and by the way, guys, you gotta love Ray's take here on life, because we got so many people out there complaining. Okay, about life is hard, and it's just we got a lot of the world has been feminized in a way. Nothing wrong with being a lady, or nothing wrong with being a lady, but some guys are just complain, and hypochondriacs and stuff like that. This dude right here, this dude's the man. Okay, you are the man. You just keep going and going. Now I want to say with the you've had some operations. Has this virus, we're going to call it the virus, has this delayed some of the progress that you've wanted to make?
The only thing it's delayed is my setting up shop in Austin. What I've found is my most active, optimistic friends, they saw this virus as an opportunity to do something new or to figure something out. One of my close friends, he figured out how to build a deck, so he put a deck onto his house. Another friend of mine, just kind of like you, said, you know what, I'm going to travel like crazy. If I've got to work from home, I can work from anywhere. And for me, it was, well, if I'm going to be home listening to podcasts and audiobooks, let's get as many surgeries done as we can. So I just got my neck released and my hands released. And something your viewers might not know, when you get burned, you get really thick burn scars when you survive. So you could either get keloid, like Edward Norton's fist in Fight Club. It kind of gets like cauliflowered, like bubbly, or you can get what I get, which are these like really thick scar bands. So that's what my genes get. So once you're through the recovery stage, you start to release these bands so you get mobility of your neck back. And this whole corona stuff, since, you know, I think this is the safest time to go to a hospital because they're cleaning it like 24/7. So, you know, I talked to her with my surgeons. Again, shout out to Hopkins Burn Unit, Dr. Caffrey, and she said, come on in and let's get this stuff that you've been thinking about doing. Let's get it all done during this corona shit. So that way, when we open back up, you're ready to go.
So they didn't delay anything. I mean, I thought there'd be stricter rules, or we're not doing as many surgeries now, or something like that. But
well, there are stricter rules, but that's more in the, you know, just the, you have to get COVID swab before you go in. You know, it's more the logistical stuff is a little more strict, but you can still get done what you need to get done, no problem. And for the 1 or 2 people that are listening to this right now, if you're putting off a medical thing because of corona thing, do not, because it's just going to get worse. And right now is one of the safest times to go to the hospital. They are on high alert for, you know, sanitation. So it is one of the cleanest.
So you're not worried at all about this stuff?
No, not at all.
Pound that like button right there. All right. Let's see. What else we're going to talk about here? We talked about the law and with the audio podcast and oh man, what is and I do want to point out you got into Bitcoin in 2011. You knew people who were mining it back then. But but no regrets. Who the heck?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Like I said, that's when I started reading about Bitcoin. Like there are tons of really interesting YouTube videos. Like they were pretty primitive about what this new asset class was going to be. But the trouble, even with Site, was actually getting your own Bitcoin and holding it for yourself. Like that was still a bit of a mystery. Because it was back in the Mt. Docs days, I believe, because I also had a few friends that were into Magic that said, yeah, we don't really know about it. We don't trust it. Some people did. You had to send money to an address and wait a week or something. And it was just, you know, when I was on the sideline watching that, I was like, let smarter people than I figure this out technically before I start really buying in.
Exactly. And then, okay, whatever, you didn't get it then. And I
could have easily been on my computer that got like destroyed while I was in Poland. So, and in a sense, it's a blessing in disguise.
And the other thing is, those dudes that you knew that were mining, what happened to their Bitcoin? Do you even know?
That's the funniest thing. We think they all. One of them, I think, ended up working for Dell, and I don't know what happened to the coins. We've been kind of wondering if that's what paid for Randolph Macon's new stadium, but yeah, what happened to the coins?
Oh man, I got you a question. Because of this virus, have you had to use Zoom more, and how's that transition been?
Not exactly. I've used more Skype, and then Hopkins used they have their own like Hopkins Connect, so it hasn't really been too much of a problem. And then again, with some of the law and legal stuff, it's all been mostly iPhone. So with how to use, what is it, the FaceTime and stuff like that. So it hasn't really been an issue. But right. Zoom's been, just because it's just new to me, and you know, getting the download and all that stuff set up. But.
Now, so I was going to ask about. Well, first, there's no one to ask questions here. So, dudes, if you want Ray to return to the show, you tell me so we can have a Q&A with him in the future. hopefully that can be sooner than later, and we'll get the technical issues fixed next time, so people can. So now they know about you, and I mean, this is I haven't, I try to bring you I bring you the best freaking guest in the space. You haven't heard a blind dude talk about Bitcoin. I don't think. Have you, Ray? Has it been a show?
Not that I know of. Like
Yeah,
I said, not in the space. The only thing I've heard of loosely through Mark Finelli sent a link that they were working on a AudioSys Bitcoin storage device, but I don't know if that's dead in the water or not. I haven't heard. That was about 2000, I think. A team was
I remember reading something about it, but I've just never never heard a
that was,
blind guy actually talk about it before. So
yeah, and that's what I was waiting for, to make sure that it was legit and that it worked properly.
the terror of sending a Bitcoin when you can't see it.
Yeah, that's a hard stop right there.
So yeah, and guys, I totally understand it. If if you buy it if you keep it at Coinbase and you can't see it, okay, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to have a heart attack like trying to send it somewhere and then messing up and like that would be that'd be very bad. All right, let me just see if there are any other questions I have here. I asked you about the audio. Yeah, audio. And all right, good. Is there any closing thoughts you have? Anything you want to share with anybody? I mean, I can link to your Twitter below. Oh yeah, on your Twitter below, you have good pictures of a Metallica leg there. If people want to see it.
Yeah, I'm just excited about the space. So far, my interactions with the Bitcoin community have been awesome. They're all like-minded people, and this has just been a great experience.
Awesome. Well, keep on being in motion there, and on the cutting edge of Bitcoin. And I mean, you're a fan of technology too, of Elon Musk. So let's keep on innovating, people. Keep on producing. Produce I mean, this is what I like. You're not part of the Bitcoin Inquisition that want to destroy different things. Well, I should ask you about altcoins real quick. So yeah, you did buy a lot like that. Your buying of a Litecoin that time, that was acceptable because you just wanted to make sure. Yeah. Is this working? Is this like Coinbase thing even working? Do you still have that Litecoin?
No, I transferred that once Coinbase, they did like an upgrade and they fixed the bug. I changed it over to Bitcoin.
All right. Yeah.
Now with altcoins, I think they're like, I'm kind of your same mentality. I think it's great. Experiment, see what can come out of it. But for most people, I think it's why gamble? Go with the tried and true Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. You can't beat the real thing. But hey, if people want to experiment with other stuff, let them do it. Compete, don't complain. Buying over crying, et cetera, et cetera. All right, there, Ray. Well, thanks for being on the show today and giving us this unique perspective on Bitcoin and life. So everybody, pound that like button. Remember, you get This Week in Bitcoin coming up soon. Who knows when this? If you're listening to this audio, the audio version of this is definitely going to come out today on Thursday. So This Week in Bitcoin is tomorrow at 9 a.m. And we've got new guests on. It's going to be great. And hopefully soon we can get Ray back on the show, and all the people who love to do the super chat, you can ask him a question. So Ray, thank you so much for being on the show today. Pound that like button, everybody. See ya.